What's going on, everyone? Thank you for joining us for what is now episode 15 of the Fourth and Long Radio Show. Today, I am joined not only by the the Bald Beast, Jalen Johnson.
Not bald anymore.
Eh, once bald, always bald. I'll be there in a second.
All right.
It's all good. And then we're also joined once again, a returner. We're joined by Blake. How's it going today, man?
Good man. Good to be back on here with the boys.
Damn right, man. Everyone at home, thanks for joining us again. We got a banger of an episode. Not really as normal structure as other ones. This is going to be a little more conversational, and also we're going to have some big playoff. We're going to give our predictions on the NFL playoffs, college football playoffs, also with the Heisman race as well. So without further ado, boys, this is Jeff Bryant's shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but what, like usual, that we always have to include is one version of things we like, things we hate. And I'm feeling a little more positive this week. Had a great fucking weekend. So, we're going to do things we like. And the thing that I like from this week is that as a Broncos fan, I finally have a little bit of hope. Because not only do we have Horsecock Lock, Drew Lock at Mizzou, taking over the league, running all over the Houston Texans on Sunday, throwing for 309 yards, 3 touchdowns, just making some plays all up and down the field. Most passing yards by Broncos quarterback since rookie Broncos quarterback since John Elway did it. I think the Broncos might have found a quarterback. I'm gonna knock on wood because I'm probably going to jinx the shit out of it. But hey, man, future's bright for now. Better than some of the other quarterbacks in the league right now, huh, Blake?
Yeah,
Especially
there's definitely
the Raiders quarterback.
there's definitely some worse quarterback play. We don't have to go there. We don't have to go there, man. Unless you want to go there, we can go there.
We can go there.
We'll see what happens. We see what happens the last week of the season,
Hey.
big guy.
Hey, we got $10 on that game, so we'll see. There's definitely some stakes riding on that.
You already owe me $5, so you'll be just getting even if you win that game. So
Yeah,
you
hey.
just better pray if you don't owe me more money.
I'll be even. Blake, what's your favorite thing out of the week?
My favorite thing out of the week is definitely the NBA and how the standings are kind of taking shape. Specifically in the Western Conference, we're used to seeing the Warriors up there with maybe a loss by now, if that, and just blowing teams out. Just killing teams every night. You just know, like they're going to put on a show. Who's going to score 50 points tonight, basically.
Right.
This year, it's kind of interesting. There's a few new faces up at the top. Like the Clippers are number 2. The Mavericks up there, top 3. The Lakers are number 1. They're not, bottom fodder anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And we also see the Suns sneaking in there at number 8. So, and then don't sleep on the Kings, of course, number 9, right there, 10 and 13. But it's just very interesting right here. I'm doing a quick count. We have 9 teams right there from 3 to about, it looks 12, 11. They're all within about 4 to 5 games of each other.
Damn.
And I just think that's crazy.
That's awesome.
They're all just right there fighting for all the the playoff spots that are going to be up for grabs that are going to not be the Trailblazers it looks like, or maybe the Pelicans when they had AD,
Mm-hmm.
or the Warriors when they had their big starting 5 of all-stars.
All-star 5, yeah.
You can kind of the Timberwolves. I don't know, man. That team might not be as good as they think they are.
All right, guess time will tell. That's one thing that I was looking forward to this NBA season. There's not like 2 or 3 just really dominant teams. It seems like 10 or 12 or 14 teams all have a nice duo that they could rely on.
Yeah, all started about Kawhi.
Kawhi, fuck. Thank God.
Yeah, just imagine if Kawhi ended up going to the Lakers.
Fuck that. I'm so glad he signed with the other LA team. The better LA team.
It was definitely
Thank you
good to
very
see.
much.
I think it promotes competition.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the best.
Not going the easy route. Because everyone could go the easy route and team up with all the people that are the best, but for him to just be like, no, I'm going to go where I think that I have the best chance to succeed as myself. I'm going to go there and build a culture there.
Exactly, man. It's awesome. Jalen, you were saying you kind of have something like that, right? What's one thing from the sports week that you like?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Mine is more team-based this week, just like yours is the hope for the Broncos. Mine was the crazy buzzer beater that the Kings had last night against the Houston Rockets. With 1 second left on the clock, drilled a 35-footer.
That's
Nothing but
killer.
net. Yeah. It was a killer. And it's against a top team. And they just beat the Mavericks, who are also a top team. So it's like, and they're still missing De'Aaron Fox and Marvin Bagley right now. So it's like, it looks like the Kings have a bright future at the moment, and their future might be this year. So definitely look forward to it.
The 6th seed in the West. You can write
Yeah,
that one
they're
down.
definitely pushing for it. They're definitely right there in the playoff race with everyone else. So
you know what?
They're sitting right there. They're sitting right there at number 9 right now. So they definitely have. They're within arm's reach of.
Yeah, they literally have.
Right there.
They have the same amount of. They have the same amount of wins as the 8th and 7th seed. They just have one more loss in the two teams, which is why they're not technically in the playoff picture right now.
They got plenty of time then. Yeah, is a Kings fan. I would be optimistic right now. Cautiously optimistic though. Cautiously.
Cautiously
it was
optimistic.
Nice of this week that at least 2 of us 3 can look at our favorite teams with hope. Maybe the Cardinals a little less, but Broncos definitely a little more. Raiders not as much. So it's kind of a shame, but it is what it is.
That's just Ross talking trash about his team.
No, not at all. What trash? What team? What bias? That's not a thing.
Wow.
Yep, but that's our things we like segment from this week. Going to move right on into what's usually next, and that is the NFL Week 14 recap. First things first, we're going to give you my top 5 because, as we all know, I'm the only one that's right. All right. Number 5, in the number 5 NFL best NFL team out of this last week is the Green Bay Packers. I think they finally earned a spot up there. They've been making some noise and they've been making some plays, and I think they've only been getting better as a team as of late. They had that stinker in Los Angeles a few weeks ago against the Chargers, but since then they've really picked things up. What do you guys think about them finally cracking the top 5?
Deservedly so. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is the top 3 quarterback in the league, and any given night he can be number 1.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always going to give you a chance in the game. And topped out with the fact that he finally has, well, I wouldn't say finally, but he has bona fide pass rushers.
Yes,
and they're getting to the quarterback and making a big difference in the game. So that really changes the game for him when he gets a defense that's going to go out there and make plays for him and give him shorter fields and just take a little bit of the load off of his back that he's used to having.
Yeah, the other thing
it helps that.
Yeah, man.
It helps that he has playmakers around him too.
Yeah, he finally has playmakers in Aaron Jones, he was running wild this weekend. He's a great dual threat. He could take the ball, gash you up and down the field, but he could also take the ball out of the backfield, a little swing pass, and make defenders miss in open space. And that's a thing that the Packers have kind of been lacking the last few seasons, is a really good running back to support Aaron.
Definitely.
Jalen, what do you think about them finally cracking the top 5?
I'm kind of I like them in the top 5. At the same time, I think the Chiefs kind of are more my top 5. I think the Chiefs would be 5 for me, and Packers would probably be first out.
So even though the Packers did win in Kansas City, albeit to a Chiefs that did not have Patrick Mahomes, you still like the Chiefs better than the Packers?
Yeah, I think Patrick Mahomes kind of showed this week that he's definitely still the quarterback he was last year.
You mean Matt Moore isn't one of the best quarterbacks in the league? Unreal.
He's about as elite as Joe Flacco is.
Okay,
so,
okay, don't disrespect Matt Moore that bad. Jeez.
Matt Moore is a decent backup in the league, but he's definitely does not bring the intensity and the leadership that Patrick Mahomes brings to the Chiefs. So it was definitely good to see him back in full form and against supposedly great Patriots team. They're kind of 0-3 against good teams so far this season. So
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure about them anymore
Not sold.
at this point.
That's why they're not in the top 5 for the first time this season. They're actually my number 7 team behind the Chiefs.
Spoiler alert, but
yeah, it is what it is. Maybe fans sometimes deserve a little be spoiled sometimes. Yeah, you feel
just a little bit.
Just a little bit. The number 4 best team in the league right now is the Seattle Seahawks. They're still one of the top leagues, or one of the league's top teams, but I was kind of surprised on how bad they got beat on Sunday night against the Rams. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it was definitely surprising, but I think we called it last time we had a podcast. I said that it might have last week might have been a coming out party for them, them turning their offense around. Todd Gurley finally got going a little bit. Robert Woods scored his first touchdown of the season, which I did not know that he didn't have a touchdown yet, because he's been getting yards this season.
Yeah.
So I definitely did not know he hadn't scored yet. Cooper Kupp still had a great game. Jared Goff had a pretty good game also, other than the 2 picks to Quandre Diggs in 2 minutes, I believe, 2 or 3 minutes. I think he had 2 picks in 3 minutes. And he's a ball magnet coming over from the Lions at the trade deadline.
Yeah,
but
right.
It was definitely a great showing by them, offensively and defensively.
Yeah, it was. Blake, what do you think about the Seahawks coming in at only number 4 now?
I mean, I think it's deserved. They definitely got their ass kicked on Sunday night, but they're still a top 5 team in my opinion. I think they still deserve to be in the top 5.
Yep,
they beat
definitely.
The Niners. I mean, they've got so many really, really quality wins on their record this year, and they still have a couple more big games to prove who they really are, and they can secure their position in the playoffs.
Exactly.
You know, whether that be a division title or that be a wild card.
Definitely.
Yep.
My question.
Right now.
Yeah. What's your question, Jalen?
My question for the Seahawks and the Niners are, after seeing the Rams perform so well on both sides of the ball, the Rams are still technically in contention for either winning the NFC West or winning, getting into the playoffs. So is this kind of something to worry about now? Is it or do you think it was another fluke week, or?
I just don't think that they have enough to compete with this Seahawks and the Niners. I don't see 3 teams out of that division making it to the playoffs this year.
I mean, it'd definitely be good to see, but it's definitely a rare commodity.
I guess that's something we could discuss in a couple minutes here, huh?
Yeah.
Yep. So my number 3 best team in the league was 2, but I bumped them down after what happened on Sunday. It's New Orleans Saints. They had that kind of game defensively against the Niners. I wonder if it was just a blimp. We'll discuss that later. But they still got one of the best offenses in the league. Drew Brees was looking amazing for the Saints and for me in fantasy over the weekend. So shout out to Drew Brees. Thank you very much. Alvin Kamara has been slacking, which is a problem. Also, they can't have another defensive performance like that if they want to win big football games. But I still think that they're one of the best teams in the league. They're already a division champ. And so I think they're worthy of that spot. What's your take, Blake?
I think what was surprising to me is the game actually was decided because they couldn't convert on their 2-point conversions. I think they had 2 chances in the game where they went for 2, and they didn't end up coming away with any points. So either time, if they had done something different and made a play, they could have had a different story in that game possibly.
Yeah, they also play defense.
I think with them, it just comes down to execution. They got to just make sure they execute better.
Gotcha.
And we'll see, because they're definitely still a top 5 team, just like the Seahawks. Sometimes you lose. You know, everyone's going to lose in the NFL nowadays. It's not like you're going to have that 2007 Patriots season
That's never going to
It's
happen.
really hard to pull off. Really, really hard to pull off unless you're in the AFC East like they are West.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, especially at that time. So, other than that, I think the Saints are still in good shape. Kamara has been a little alarming this season with the lack of production, so to say. But I wouldn't be too scared. I think he's fine. He's going to be up to his usual high standard whenever they need him to be.
Yep. Jalen, do the Saints deserve that number 3 spot?
Yeah, I think the Niners game kind of came down to a couple of mistakes, like the 2-point conversions that Blake was referring to, and also that third, I think it was 3rd down and 2 or 4th down and 2, the play that they converted to George Kittle. One player misses a tackle, he's running like 30 yards down the field, and then a face mask to pull him down, gives him another 15 yards of what would have been like a 52-yard field goal, turned into a chip shot.
Exactly.
So I think it came down to mistakes for them, and I definitely think that's something that they'll clean up, or it will be the death of them for the playoffs. But I definitely think they'll make playoffs. I just think if they don't clean those up, they're not going to make it very far.
Yeah, there's a couple small mistakes, but that's something that Sean Payton ran team could definitely fix up within a week.
Yeah, definitely. Small mistakes, but small mistakes against a good team could be the end of your season.
Yep. The number 2 team in the league right now is a team that just knocked off the Saints, and that is the San Francisco 49ers. That team is balling out of control right now. That offense is really clicking. They've arrived like 1 or 2 seasons before I thought they actually would, and it's been kind of crazy. Emmanuel Sanders has been looking really good on that team. He's kind of have revitalized his career ever since he got traded from the Broncos in the early part of the season, which is good for him. Good to see from him. Jimmy G's still balling, and that defense, it was slacking on Sunday, but it normally plays well, and I think they deserve the number 2 spot. You think?
I think the Niners are probably the top 2 team in the league.
Yep.
Definitely not number 1. I'll never give them that credit just because I'm salty. It's always going to be the Raiders in my opinion.
That's fair.
But yeah, man, their team is so damn good this year. It's ridiculous.
I was not expecting
Jimmy Garoppolo can be the real deal when need be. Their defense is just unfair. I mean, that rotation is just ridiculous. Their secondary with Richard Sherman playing like he's still young and spry and has 10 years ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's alarming to me is how kind of injured they came out of it.
Yeah.
I did see a lot of really quality and starting contributing players are going to be listed on the injury report all week, so we're going to have to monitor their status into this weekend because they're playing meaningful games here. They're playing for home field advantage now these next few weeks.
They're trying to fight off the Seahawks right now too. The Rams really helped the Niners by beating the Seahawks.
Definitely.
Niners in the driving table now. If they win out, they win that division, and they might take the number 1 seed in the NFC.
You know what's a big story with them too is their running back Mostert. He's kind of taken over in that backfield.
Out of nowhere too.
I wish I picked him up on waivers, man.
Oh, I'm flaming him right now. I need him. Need that claim to go through, please.
Good luck, brother.
Thank you. It's all good. I won the first round of playoffs, and I made it to the second round. So
not my league.
Well, I'm not talking about that league. I'm talking about my main league. So
last place down there.
Yeah, fuck off. I'm in the second round of my main league, and I'm in prime position for a third second round exit in a row. So it's gonna be great. But let's get on. Let's not talk about how we're going to lose this weekend. But let's talk about instead the best team in the league. Once again, I think it's like their 3rd week in a row or 4th week in a row. I forget. But that's the Baltimore Ravens. Like, man, what can't they do? They just had a great game against the Bills. And the Bills are not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. Man,
Yeah, that's that.
Ravens
Wait, that's my
just
question. Why aren't the Bills
salty.
in your top 5 or top
Because
7 at that?
they just lost. Essentially, they were top 7 last week, if you remember. I said I had
Mm-hmm.
a segment saying that they were the most underrated team in the league, but
Yes, sir.
they're the 8th best team in the league right now. So just barely missed that
Hmm.
top 7. Shame. Maybe if they
I
don't
feel that.
lose. Maybe if they don't lose, you know? But yeah, Ravens number 1 team. You can't make an argument for anyone else, can you?
Yeah.
No, I wish we could give them just a round of applause, just to signify how fucking amazing it is to
Well, we
watch them
can.
play.
Right?
I really enjoy watching the Ravens play football. It's
They're a
the
fun
funnest
team.
thing to do. I mean, what else can you ask for? Just seeing what he does to these other professional athletes at the highest level that you could possibly be in this sport just makes them look silly. It's insane. I just can't comprehend what he does out there on a daily
He
basis.
makes
He
players
just
so
passed Michael
stupid
Vick,
and unathletic on the daily.
and they're definitely not stupid and unathletic. They're fucking incredible athletes in their own right. So for him to be doing this and just making all these highlight reel plays every single week and progressing as a passer, it's just so fun to watch. I mean, he's given the whole league a list of problems, and it's just fun to watch.
Exactly. Jalen, you
Yeah.
agree?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. It's great to see, and then a little cherry on top for Lamar this week. As everyone saw, he wore the long white sleeve shirt with the white glove on his left hand to signify this week, because last week
Yeah,
against the
that was
49ers, an
bad.
announcer called out he has an advantage with fakes because of his dark skin and a dark football.
Mhm.
So he decided to wear a white football glove and white sleeves
I
so
love
people
that.
could see his hands.
Yeah, that guy
And
was a fucking moron for saying that. Not like because
Yeah.
white pitchers in baseball have the advantage because the white baseball blends. No, it's not how it works. It's not. No, that was one
Yeah,
of the dumbest things I've ever heard, and he rightfully got suspended. That dumb motherfucker.
I'm glad.
I wasn't suspended for saying somewhat racist shit like that. I was suspended for just saying stupid shit on air. That's just bad commentary. If anything,
Watch,
man.
next time he comes back, he's going to be talking about Lamar Jackson runs fast because of the extra heel bone.
Long heel bone. That's exactly what it is. But there you go. That's the top 5 coming out of the NFL from this last week. Number 5 to 1. Packers, Seahawks, Saints, Niners, Ravens. First out being the Chiefs and Patriots. Well, sticking on the topic of the Patriots, here they go. Cheating again. Was Spygate 2.0, 3.0?
2.0 as far as we
Where are we
know.
at
It's probably
now?
like a Spygate 20.0 or something like that.
Man, the fucking Patriots. How? So, the report is before we give our totally very professional and unbiased opinion on the Patriots, those dicks.
Something like that.
The story is that the Patriots have filmographers recording the sidelines of the Bengals during their game last week because they're recording a documentary on what it's like to be an advanced scout. So they had the cameras out there who were said to be independent contractors. And didn't necessarily work for the Patriots, but they're out there recording the Patriots advanced scout scouting the Bengals at their game this weekend. The league is still investigating, but come the fuck on, man. Who's buying
It
this
doesn't
shit?
make sense anymore.
But
And it was, you could tell. Yeah, you could tell that the Patriots were kind of guilty because at first they came out and Bill Belichick's like, no, we had nothing to do with that. This is all being misinterpreted. Later on that day, they're like, oh, we're filming this thing for a project we're doing. And then later on it was, oh, we accept full responsibility for our actions.
right,
And so
come
it's like,
on now.
like, what are you doing? First you were doing it. And then it was, oh, it's this thing, and then it's we accept full responsibility for our actions. Which one is it? You know. So
If you're going to lie, just stick to one story, man. Just
you
stick to
you
it.
can't change. And it was all within like a 24-hour span. They had 3 different stories. So
It's screaming guilty to me right now.
Guilty. And the sad part is, it wasn't like they were filming the Ravens.
No, they're
They weren't
filming the
Niners. They were
Bengals.
filming
How much
the
help do they need
Bengals.
against the fucking 1-11 Bengals?
One win, and you're filming the Bengals.
How embarrassing is
So
that?
my question is, if they're filming the Bengals, have they been filming other teams, and this is just the first time they've been caught, or
Shit, probably. Bill Belichick is way too smart to like not be doing something, right?
my question to you, Ross, just kind of one of our segments we usually do on here is the overreaction segment.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is Bill Belichick the best system coach?
What the fuck does that even mean?
I don't know. I have no clue what that means.
Oh well, if he's the best at everything coaching, so yeah, he is. No overreaction.
What if this entire time Bill Belichick knows nothing about football, and that's why he doesn't talk that much, and every single week they've just been cheating off of stealing their team stuff?
I would not be fucking surprised
That would
whatsoever.
be so funny.
Like he retires it. Yeah, he freaking retires and he's like, I know nothing about football at all.
It was all a ruse, and you fuckers fell for it because we're all gullible little shits, I guess.
Pretty
Fuck you,
much.
Boston. You cheating
Hopefully you
pieces
know.
of shit. I guess another scam controversy thing going around, kind of a stupid ass story, but we had Le'Veon Bell getting ridiculed by the media and also Twitter because he missed the game on Sunday, but because it was due to the flu. But that night he was out till around 1 o'clock in the morning playing bowling with his family. I feel like everyone's totally overreacting to this, and it's more of a nothing story that people are making it something. What do you think?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a big deal. He's out with family. If he really was out with just the family, then that's fine. If he's with mom, maybe like sisters, cousins,
Right.
whatever.
Like, I mean, people are getting mad from like
That's
missing
fine.
practice or a game, but dude, there's a difference between football and fucking bowling. Anyone can bowl.
Definitely.
Any fat fuck can go bowling. It takes no effort.
Definitely. But yeah, if he really couldn't play and if they really weren't going to allow him to play, I don't see a problem with it. It may be a little kind of clueless on his part,
Yeah.
being out in public and not taking care of that, like going to a
Like,
You
he
know,
should have known that the
they
media was going to make a
take care
shit
of him.
show out of it.
yeah. So that was kind of on him for that part. But other than that, if he can live with that distraction, then that's on him.
It's
But
a nothing story.
I think he's proved to his teammates, especially I remember in the offseason, they were really impressed with like how hard that guy works. So I don't think it's I don't think it's a question of whether he's in it on the team or not. It's just he needs to kind of just get back to his top form.
Yeah. But, man, I got nothing against it. Dude's just going bowling. He's fine.
Yeah,
I'm not tripping.
Yeah, definitely. Especially it's the fact he's out with his family. Like if he was lying and he was out with like his friends and stuff, just partying, that's different. But the man's out with his family. The football players all year are pretty much pulled away from their family week after week. He takes time out to be with his family, and I feel like people are trying to make it a big deal because there's really not been any Le'Veon Bells this week. I mean, not this week. Le'Veon Bell stories this year. And everyone was trying to make him seem like this big distraction, and he hasn't been a distraction. Like he said in his interview, he said, "I haven't been a distraction until this now, and this is even a big deal." And everyone's trying to make it a big deal.
Making it a distraction. He's not
Exactly.
a distraction.
Exactly. It was something simple. Oh, the man out with his family. All you gotta do as a coach is, hey, look, you were just sick to play the game. We kind of want you at top shape. I know you were out with your family, but we kind of need you in the best shape you can be.
Yeah.
Just make a better choice next time. I understand though. You're being a family man. Exactly.
If
but
anything,
now
I'm more impressed.
it's
I think that we can safely say that Le'Veon, dude, bowled a 251 that night. So, I think we can say that Le'Veon had the best athletic performance with a flu ever. I don't think anyone comes close.
Yeah, definitely.
There's nothing that
that's the most athletic thing I've ever seen on a flu.
Like no one's ever had a flu game.
Best flu game ever.
I'm sorry, Michael Jordan. Come on the show to defend yourself in your flu game. I know you're listening.
Come on.
Fucking imagine. Yeah, but big old nothing story out of the week. Totally bullshit. Just a dumbass media overhyping everything like they usually do, just so they can get their pointless clicks. Moving on.
Pretty much.
Into our fan favorite segment. Let's go and talk some overreactions. I got a few statements this week, and the first one is that the Broncos would be able to beat the Patriots because they just smashed the Houston Texans. They put up 38 on them. It was 21-0 in the first quarter. And it was Houston who beat the Patriots last week or 2 weeks ago now. So, therefore, the Broncos is better than the Patriots. Debate me.
Wow. I feel like that's kind of the same as the situation that was going on in college football. A couple of Arizona State fan pages posted Arizona State's better than Alabama because of all this list of teams, including like all those teams, and then it led back to Arizona State beating Oregon, and Oregon had beat a team that beat somebody else, and then Stanford and all those, and it came out to that means Arizona State is better than Alabama.
The math checks out to me.
And I feel like we're missing a lot.
No,
I feel like we're skipping a couple.
Way.
I think we're skipping a couple steps. I just think that's not what it equals. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Alabama could come get this work if they want to play ASU, but like the Broncos and Patriots, I think that's totally just out of pocket.
That's fair. Blake, I think I know your answer to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Blake's definitely going to go with that. This is an overreaction, but it's okay because he's just jealous that the Broncos have a reliable team now, and they're not
the Broncos have lost to the Raiders this year, week 1, and I will continue to remind you that.
That's just week 1 when they had Joe Flacco.
Did we play you guys week 16 or week 17?
It's one of the two. It's something late, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be in Denver, and Drew Lock is just going to throw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns.
We play you week 17 at 1:25 p.m.
Hey, that's a fun way to end off the season for either team because we know both of them aren't making the playoffs.
Definitely not, but we're going to smash you guys. You guys are terrible.
Fake news. Let's get on. Number 2. Eli, kind of decent performance on Monday where he actually forced overtime against the Eagles, which was somewhat impressive, but dude went 15 for 30, 303 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. So with that being said, overreaction or not, that Eli can still start in the NFL.
Overreaction.
Slightly.
Done.
Nope, that's all.
He's done. That was honestly the perfect game for him to come back because the Eagles' defense just stinks.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really bad.
And the Eagles were running on some practice squad teams or players for half of it.
Yeah, like, I don't know what's worse, their receivers or just their defense as a whole. But, yeah, that's all that there's left for Eli, I think. He might get another start if Daniel Jones can't go next week. Who knows? But I don't think he's going to go to another team and just start on another team. There's just no way.
I feel
not with what's going to be available.
Yeah. Jalen, what do you think?
I think he can still start in the NFL. Do I think he'll get another chance to? No. I think he has the skill and ability and knowledge of football to start in the NFL and win and make playoffs on a good team. I just don't think any NFL team will give him a chance to do that ever again. So I'm going to have to go with it's not an overreaction. But I think if we're just talking about skills and the ability to start, then he could. But I don't think he'll get the chance.
I feel it. At the end of the day, he may be 1 win under 500 on his career, but he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, and Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer. Thank you very much.
Definitely.
This is my TED Talk. Number 3. The Saints and the Niners should be worried about the way their defense is played on Sunday, giving up a total of 94 points scored. Is it a blip in both teams' defense, or is it something actually concerning?
I think they both just got caught up a little bit in the game itself. There were just crazy plays that were getting made all over the place that day. And sometimes, you just kind of get in those kind of fast-paced games that it's just like, one punch after another, and it just keeps flying until there's the last one standing. And I think that's just a blip.
Okay. Jalen, blip or not?
Yeah. I definitely think it is something to worry about just a little bit because, 94 total points and you guys are supposed to be the top teams in the NFL. I think it's more worrying for the Niners. Mm-hmm. I think the Niners have one of the top 2 defenses in the league, and I think it's more for them. They allow points. Saints, it's more they're used to allowing points. They're just used to their offense outscoring them. Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't for those mistakes that we talked about earlier, they would have won the game. So I think it's the Saints less to worry about because they usually can outshoot most teams in the NFL, and I believe they still can. Mm-hmm. Niners, it's more their defense usually puts their inconsistent offense, in my opinion. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is way too inconsistent. I think that if their defense plays the way that they played against the Saints, against anybody, even the Saints again in the playoffs, I don't think they make it to the Super Bowl.
That's fair. I pretty much agree with that too. I don't think they should necessarily be worried, but it might be it cause for a little concern. But it's something I think both teams will clean up before the start of the playoffs.
Definitely.
Yep. So moving on from that, we are going to go into kind of our playoff predictions. We have the current seeding for the AFC and NFC conference, and it's up to you guys to tell me if it's going to stay as it is or if we're going to see some changes before the end of the season. So right now in the AFC, we have the Ravens. We had so from 1 to 6, Ravens, Patriots, Chiefs, Texans, Bills, and Steelers. The Chiefs have clinched a playoff spot by winning the AFC West, and the Ravens have clinched a playoff spot but have not clinched the division yet. Then in the hunt, we have the Titans and we have the Browns. So, gentlemen, is this the 1 through 6 we're getting, or is it going to be different by the time the wildcard round kicks off here in a number of weeks?
I think it's just between the Steelers and the Titans, really.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you on that one.
It's about
I definitely think that.
You think what, Jalen?
Yeah, I definitely think the Titans are going to outplay the Steelers in the season. I think Darren Henry's still too hot going down the stretch.
Is looking like
exactly.
Right
now that he's replaced Marcus Mariota, I think they're actually going on a roll. The Titans actually do believe that Tannehill is their future, which is good that they've decided that, and it's not really a toss-up of who's the starter. That always kind of gives you a little bit more confidence to your quarterback when he knows that he's not fighting somebody every single week for his job. It kind of gives you that confidence that my team trusts me to do what I need to do, and I can go out there and play. The Steelers, I feel like they're already on the third quarterback. I feel like they have way too many holes against competitive teams. Mm-hmm. I just feel like sooner or later they're going to start. They're going to be losing a lot these last couple weeks, and I don't think they'll make playoffs.
Undefeated. Put a little respect on the Duck.
I guess, man, but
I
don't see it lasting.
Yeah, I think it's going to end up with 1 through 5: Ravens, Patriots, Chiefs, Texans. Bills are going to take that 5th spot, and I think the Titans are going to overtake the Steelers for the number 6 seed.
Definitely.
That's what I think.
Well, let's think of it like this, man. The Steelers have to end the season, week 17, playing the Ravens away. Mm-hmm. That's not going to be a fucking walk in the park. They have to play at the Jets, week 16. Not the easiest of games either. Still a winnable game, I guess you could say. And then this week, we got them playing the Bills. So that's like another playoff game, basically. And I don't have them beating the Bills. I mean, they're playing them at home, but I don't know. That's actually a Sunday night football game, so that's a very interesting game to watch as like a non-fan of either team. You know,
That's fun. But yeah, it's the AFC at least. We'll see how that ends up because still anything can happen, of course. Over in the
now if we
NFC,
compare that to the Titans, if we wanted to compare that to the Titans, just to do that real quick for the listeners.
yeah,
Coming up this week, they play the Texans.
okay.
Tough. Next week they play the Saints. Yikes.
Ooh, tough one. They might be dropping 2 in a row.
That's a 10 a.m. game at home. And then they also in the season playing. Where the heck is it? The Texans again. Wow, interesting.
Oh wow, nah.
10
I'm
a.m.
surprised they haven't played the
10
Texans
a.m.
yet.
game away. Yeah, they're playing them at home this week. It looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean they both have pretty tough schedules coming up. It's going to be interesting to see who sneaks in there right now. If it stays the way it is, it's going to be the Steelers. If the Titans can go on a little bit of a run here, and
Titans going to have to make some plays. Is what's going to happen if they want to make the playoffs. I think
Most
they got it in them
definitely.
though. I think they do.
See, that's going to be an uphill battle. They're going to have to win at home and then either beat the Saints or the Texans again.
Yep. Guess we're about to find out real soon, huh?
Can't wait.
Definitely.
Right. Over in the NFC now, from 1 to 6, we have the Niners, Packers, Saints, Cowboys, Seahawks, and Vikings. The only team that has clinched a playoff spot right now is the Saints, as they are NFC South Division champions. Over in the hunt, we have the Rams and the Bears. So, there's a lot more versatility in these seedings, especially when you look at the Niners and Seahawks. Cowboys still have a chance to blow that division somehow to the Eagles. And the Packers aren't necessarily safe in the NFC North because they have the Vikings hot on their tails. How's this one going to end up, fellas? Jalen, you want to start us off?
I definitely think the Rams might sneak in if they continue playing the way that they played this week and last week. I think that they can sneak in past the Vikings. I feel like Kirk Cousins is still he's been hot right lately. He's definitely been hot lately, but if primetime Kirk comes back at any point this season, I think the Vikings definitely have something to
especially if Adam
worry
Thielen
about.
comes out and come back from an injury soon too. That would be a big boost.
Mm-hmm.
What about specifically between the battle between the Niners and the Seahawks? Who's winning the division and who's going to be the bye team, and then who's going to have to fight in the wild card?
What I think is bullcrap is that game is a 1:25 p.m. game, Week 17, 49ers versus Seahawks.
They have to
What
flex
the
that
hell?
to Sunday night. They have to flex it,
That's-
right?
That's horrible. I don't even see any night game that day. There's no night game that day.
Well, it's been shit that the Niners in both the Niners and Ravens game 2 weeks ago, then last week the Niners and Saints game. Those are both 11 a.m. games. That's bullshit. Sorry, 10 a.m. for you guys.
I mean, I actually kind of liked it because it spaced it up perfectly. I got to watch that game in the morning, my game, and then the night game, so it was amazing.
That's fair.
But and the Kings game in the middle of that too, so it was kind of like wow.
So it worked out for you, but maybe fans as a whole, I think that
Yeah,
deserves to
no,
be Sunday
definitely.
night.
The 49ers versus Seahawks game, that should definitely be prime time, but it looks like they don't have that capability.
That's a fucking shame. At least it's not a 10 a.m. game. So that's cool.
Yeah, definitely. But I'll be watching the Raider Broncos game, unfortunately.
Oh, you bet.
Unfortunately.
I think that the Niners are going to keep the one. Yeah, Niners are going to be the 1 seed. 2 seed is going to be the Saints. So those are going to be 2 teams with bias. Packers are going to move down to 3. Cowboys are going to be the 4. Because the NFC East shouldn't be able to make the playoffs. I think we should just ban them this year.
Yeah, that's not okay.
Shit. They're so bad. They don't deserve anything, but I guess the Cowboys are going to make it to the playoffs by default. And then you are going to have the Seahawks in number 5. And honestly, I'm going to keep the Vikings in number 6. I like the teams that are in the playoffs right now. I just want to switch up the order a little bit.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
don't really have a problem with the Cowboys being in there just because I always do kind of like that underdog story. And whether it be the Cowboys
Fuck the
or the
Cowboys.
Eagles,
Come on.
doesn't matter. I always like an underdog story just to kind of see like, okay, well, any given Sunday, let's see what happens this time. And if they
Yeah,
win, it's like, oh shit. If they don't win, it's like, well, that was expected. So it doesn't really matter to me.
that's
If
fair.
you win your division, you get in the playoffs. That's how the rules are written. So
Yeah, for
nothing
better or
really-
for
Definitely.
worse. Normally, most time it works out, but it's just season like this where it's kind of shit that has to be. But it is
I
what
don't like
it is.
that one season
Yeah,
where Marshawn Lynch and Beast Mode.
exactly, dude. But that is our playoff predictions, at least in the NFL. But there's more playoffs that in football. That's not just the NFL. We have the NCAA playoffs, and that is going to be over in the Peach Bowl. We're going to have number 1 LSU versus number 4 Oklahoma. Then the Fiesta Bowl, we're going to have number 2 Ohio State versus number 3 Clemson. Fellas, who's winning either of those games, and who is going to end up taking the college football playoffs national championship?
Got LSU going against Oklahoma.
Yep.
I definitely got LSU winning that game.
No way Oklahoma
In the
wins that.
Fiesta Bowl, no, definitely not. Not with the way I've seen hers playing.
Also, that defense
Um,
is going to give us so many points to that LSU offense. Come on now.
Easy. And then Clemson, I have over Ohio State. I just think that their pedigree is going to shine through.
Okay.
Their coaching is going to be kind of on that Belichick level. You know, they're just going to be, I feel like, a step ahead.
Some Dabo Sweeney. He's going to work up some magic.
You know,
All right. So you're saying LSU and Clemson are going to battle off in the championship game. Who's taking that one then?
got LSU winning that.
LSU national champions over Clemson. Not a bad pick,
Absolutely.
honestly. Jalen, what do you think?
I like the LSU versus Oklahoma game. I do want Jalen Hurts to win with Oklahoma just so he can show that it wasn't being in Alabama that made him a good quarterback.
Yeah,
I do want that to happen, but I
it's not
just
happening.
I think LSU's team is too complete. I think Oklahoma's defense is way too inconsistent.
No matter what, though,
So I think
Jalen
LSU will
Hurts
win
will
one.
be the first quarterback in college football playoff history to be on 2 different playoff teams.
Definitely, that would definitely be a record he'll hold dear.
I guess.
For Ohio State versus Clemson, that one's kind of a toss-up too, just because it looks like Ohio State has a lot less experience, and that might come into play. But Clemson, I feel like they just have way too many close calls with bad teams this year.
Especially that
and
weak
they-
ACC.
Yeah, they've looked like they deserve it already. Is what they think that they deserve it, and I think you can get caught slipping at any point in college football or
Yeah.
football in general. So I do think Ohio State pulls that out. If they bring anything less than what they were bringing last year, Clemson loses. So I definitely think it'll probably be LSU, Ohio State. I think Ohio State takes it.
Yep. All right. So
Yeah.
you're going.
I think Ohio State takes
You're
it over
seeing
LSU.
LSU, Ohio State national championship. So who wins out of that? The 1 seed or the 2 seed?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be 1 and 2, and the 2's gonna take it.
You have Ohio State going over LSU in national championship. Honestly, not a bad take at all. I might be a little different than you guys, of course. I think the one game that is a given is LSU beating Oklahoma, just because I believe that the LSU offense is better than the Oklahoma offense, which is the only thing Oklahoma has going for them. And that LSU defense, I think, is going to suffocate the offense because SEC defense, especially LSU defense, is a whole different animal than any team Oklahoma has gone against this season. They're not going to be ready for it, honestly. Over in the Fiesta Bowl, that's going to be a tougher matchup, but I think Ohio State will just out-offense Clemson in this one. Chase Young is going to be all over Trevor Lawrence, and Justin Field is going to throw for at least 300 yards that game. So, like you, Jalen, I have LSU and Ohio State playing each other in the national championship. But it might be a boring take. But I'm going to have to go with number 1 seed LSU winning it all this year. I think they're just the different offensive and defensively. They're just so well balanced of a team. And I think that's just what's going to lead them victory over Ohio State. But I honestly, there's a lot that can happen. That's the one thing about being a 14 playoff is that the games are a little more of a toss-up than when it might be with the A-team.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know about you guys, but I am really excited for these college football playoffs and for the bowl season to start up here in a couple weeks.
Definitely. I would definitely be excited to see a lot of the games. My team ASU will be playing Florida State in the Sun Bowl.
Okay.
So that'll definitely be good to see. I can't wait for them to expand the playoffs. I think it should be more like an NFL type playoff.
18 playoff.
I think it should be an NFL type playoff. And I think it'll be definitely good to see. And I think they should try it down here first because just like down here in college football, anybody can make playoffs as long as you're in the top 4. I think if they expand it to make it look kind of like the NFL type playoff, that it would kind of push the NFL to make it to where its top teams go to playoffs, not by division and conference stuff like that.
All right, yeah, I like it. It's a great time. Boise State Broncos playing the Washington Huskies in the Las Vegas Bowl. But I'll take that dub for sure. Last predictions of finish off this show. Let's talk about the Heismans real quick. So we have our 4 finalists have been announced, and that is Joe Burrow, of course, the quarterback for LSU, Justin Fields, quarterback for Ohio State, Jalen Hurts, quarterback for Oklahoma, and Chase Young, the defensive end for Oklahoma State University. Jalen, you first. Who's winning the Heisman?
As a defensive guy, I definitely think Chase Young still has a chance. I think he has a better chance than Jalen Hurts in this list. I think Chase Young, if he comes out and dominates and drops like 3 or 4 plus sacks in both games of the playoffs, he can definitely solidify that Heisman. Mm-hmm. But I think if he doesn't do anything like that, I think Joe Burrow just runs away with it.
I think so too. There's no way Joe Burrow doesn't win this. He's a quarterback. He's put up giant numbers, and he plays for SEC team. That kind of checks all the boxes. Blake, who's winning this one in your opinion?
Yeah, I don't see anyone besides Joe Burrow going away with this one.
It's too easy of a choice, to be honest.
Yeah, they're all good players up there, but no one really compares to the season that Joe Burrow's had.
Exactly.
Especially, like you said, in the kind of difficulty of schedule and strength of schedule that he's had. Mm-hmm. So, but how it's not him, honestly.
Yeah. So, Joe Burrow's winning that. LSU is winning the national championship. In opinion of a couple of us, or Ohio State's winning it, then LSU, and for a couple of us. And just one more thing that actually happened just about 20 minutes ago now. Garrett Cole has signed, a little baseball news now, Garrett Cole has signed with the New York Yankees to a record-breaking 9-year, $324 million contract. It does include... Right. It does include a opt-out player option after the 5th year. And Garrett Cole is now the MLB's first $300 million pitcher. And like we've said in the past, and we'll say it again, fuck the Yankees.
$224 million.
Yeah, that's a lot of fucking money. Sweet damn, man.
Wow.
That's nice.
On that depressing note, man, fuck you Yankees. Fuck you Boston. Fuck you New York too. But
just all that stuff up there.
Thank you guys, though. Thanks for joining us this week. Thank you, Blake, for coming back on the show. Thank you, Jalen, for not skipping out on your co-host duties and being with us this week. And thank you everyone at home for tuning in to this week's edition of the Fourth and Long podcast. Feel free to drop a like and subscribe to the page on YouTube. Also, go check us out on Twitter at Fourth Long Radio. That is a capital F, capital L, and capital R.
L and capital R.
Please enter your
Go
password.
check us out.
Then
Go
press
check us
pound.
out. Jalen.
What the fuck was that, dog? That's a bad way to end. Or you can check us out on the IG, which is at the number 4th and Long Radio. Once again, that's Fourth and Long Radio with the number 4th. Also, I have it on the background of YouTube. Just go check that shit out. We'll have that linked in the description as well. But signing off for now. Thank you, Blake. Thank you, Jalen. And we will catch you guys in the next one.